Hey guys, how you doing? Let's do it to it. This is a little different of a King's Indian kind of setup, but this is kind of the setup of the King's Indian. So I gotta make sure everything's going okay. Okay, good. It's all good. Alrighty. Okay, there's D6. There's also D5, which Rook C1's a powerful move because it controls after takes. You have this huge open file getting ready. C5 allows for D5, which expands in the center, takes space. So F4 was an interesting move. D6 more likely the best. E3, knight bd7, and bishop to e3 or e2. Bishop e2 is it's kind of like when you have a formation like this here. I'll show you when bishop e2 is a good move. I'll show you right here. Okay, not this. Bishop d3 is a good move. I'll show you. Watch. We're just gonna do a little quick setup here. Okay, and then knight. Actually, sorry, bishop here, knight here, here, here. And we'll play here, here, there, and here, and here. And then we'll say something like this, and here. Now when this pawn isn't pushed here, you can play bishop to d3, but if this pawn is pushed, and we'll go back like right. This is more of the modern type of setup. So we probably want to try something like this. Here, 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 something like this. It's something basic like this. I'll show you. Here, and then you play there, because there's really no point to this move. You're biting on granite. This move here has a purpose because you're getting ready to prepare h4, h5, and trying to break down on the king side. That's the whole idea. Okay, we'll get back to our move. Bishop e2, and I just wanted to you're probably wondering why bishop e2. Now you understand why. When you get a formation like this, bishop d3 is obsolete. You're wanting to keep it like this so that you can have a pawn push up the board. e3, h3. Also, it helps prepare g4 too. There's a lot of different lines. Rook and then castles, a6. There's an attacking line that if you play e5, pawn takes e5, pawn takes e5, knight takes e5, knight takes e5, queen takes, rook takes, and you're actually up a whole pawn in this line. So you lose a pawn if you play e5 at that moment. So you castle, and then he plays a6. If he played e5, we know he loses a center pawn, and we get one. So rook c1, queen e7, bishop h2, e5 at this point, and then b4, which is it's dubious. It's a pretty dubious move. There's a line where you can actually play a4, a5, and then you lock down. Or potentially you can go a3, b4, but you got to be very careful that you want to get a bind in the center. So potentially maybe d5 is a better idea. c5 is also a good idea too. There's e takes, pawn takes, takes, queen takes, and you have in this line. Now you're playing against your opponent's isolated pawn, and it's good for white in that line. So c5. If d takes, it's a mistake here because the pawn takes. Knight there, and then you bring the knight in. At this point, there's this line you can actually play. Let me see. Hold on. Oops. There's G. There's, instead of this, G5, G4 is an idea too, and that traps the knight. If you wanted to just outright win the knight, you can do that too. But d5 was played. That's usually the main line in that. Queen d8, e6, and now we're trying to chomp the pawns and go after an attack. So white missed the opportunity to play c5 instead. They played b4, which is not as good of a move sequence. b6. Now c5 is an exclam. See, black should have tried something like the breakdown on b5. Might have been an even better idea. Excuse me. The only problem with that is you lose a pawn. So maybe he could have played something slightly different, maybe a5 or something like that, and tried to crunch down on that, but I don't know. b6, c5, bishop b7, rook e1, and then pawn takes. That was a mistake. E4 in this line it's kind of surprising. You would think, wait a second, wouldn't knight, you'd probably want to play there, right? No. We don't play. You don't want to retreat. You take c takes d, c takes d, knight d2 at that point, and then d5. We've acquired a pretty good goal for white here, even though this is a kind of like a advanced variation of the French for black, kind of, if you want to think about it, inverse advanced variation. But the only sitch is this has become a weakness and it's a target, but it does have a bind in the center, so black can still hold. But what black played wasn't the best move. B takes C isn't C5 isn't the best move. B takes C5, and then E4, pawn takes, knight D2, and then D5. We get to the the location, but it's not as strong. I'll show you. If we play it here, there's still these two pawns here. But the other line, when we get there, this pawn is missing, and it gives white a better chance of surviving because of the two open files. White has a better chance of surviving now. D5, queen b3, rook a1. That's actually a really good move. This move here is bad because you actually can do a tactic in this line. If you take here, if this takes, you win the bishop. So the tactic's there. And if knight f8, you take here, and when the pawn takes. Let me see here. He takes. Knight takes. Let's see. Knight takes. Pawn takes, and then rook. That's it. This fork here. The reason this doesn't work is there's a fork that wins back the material. So the only move that made sense was it's kind of a Nakamura setup in the London system. This was actually played against, it's a very similar, it was Alexander Gruzchik played the London system against Nakamura. And Nakamura played rook to a7 in one of the London system setups, and what it did is it allowed for this rook to be on the 7th to protect, so there was no Greek gift setup. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay, perfect. 25. Bishop a8, rook e3, or c3, rook c3. And rook b7. There's a line that potentially queen e6 would have been slightly better, because this protects the pawn, also passes the move to white, saying what you gonna do. But this is a little bit too over, I want to say, happy. A5 isn't the best move. It's dubious. Rook a7. It's kind of it'd be hard for a player to move it back to rook to a7, but rook a7 is the only move that holds. They tried a5. A5 makes this more of a thorn for black that white can actually take scope on. So first we play knight b3, and now we're attacking this pawn. So queen b4 is forced. Knight a c5. That was a mistake. It's actually knight b c5 that's the best. Because if knight takes c5, knight takes c5, now we acquired an outpost, and this pawn isn't going anywhere. So we're good to go in that. Here, and then bishop c7, and we attack the queen. If we draw the queen, if the queen takes, then actually the queen can't take, so the queen's like trapped. The queen is actually trapped here. That's why it was a beautiful move. This was, it trapped the queen. There's also, if a7 here, this traps the queen as well, so the queen is trapped. So white missed the opportunity to trap black's queen. This move here would have trapped the queen, but white missed it, and a4 would have actually been better here. Rook c1. If a takes b, rook takes, and the queen's trapped, so they can't take. So takes, and rook e, and then now it's exclam, basically equal position where nobody has any edge. But that was a mistake. Here, a5. There's also, if rook goes to b7 or b6, bishop c7, and you get in a similar position. If he moves here, you trap the queen, and there's no road out for the queen. So that's why the rook had to go to a7. Was to give a flight square for the queen to potentially get out on. Like if something is right here, Actually, I'm sorry. If we played there, that would be a target. So now, if we played the bishop here, the rook would take. So that's why it's got to stay there. And then this traps the queen, anyways. There, the queen's trapped. The queen went a little too far into the position and ended up, as they always say, with the hand in the cookie jar. And they're like, "I didn't do it. I'm sorry, but you did, and now you're going to lose your queen." And so black resigned here. Alright. So let's do it to it. We'll get some puzzles going. Alrighty. Let's see, what do we got here? um, if bishop takes d3, check. King takes d3. And I think queen d6 check's a good idea. So what do you think? What do you guys think? What do you think, economy? Do you like bishop takes d3? Well, I guess the king could take. Oh, you're talking would the bishop take back? I guess the bishop could take back, like if bishop takes d3, bishop takes d3. Probably in that line. Queen d7 would be played in that line, probably. So I'm thinking that it's right. No. No, no. Huh. Knight b4. I am puzzled here. Oh. So knight b4. And then you pick up a that, okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that was a pain. So let's try to not think about it too hard here and just see what we got for a position. Oh boy. Okay, let's see. So e5. Boy, this is a crazy position for sure. Hmm. What would be a good move in this line? I'm trying to consider potentially. Rook takes c6. B takes c6, and then bishop to g4 check, and we pick up the rook. This is kind of the only way to hold any leverage in that is this here. You're serious. What did I? Oh, just we win a pawn. Okay, and you keep all the threats, but is it because it's the equal position? Come on. I'll accept that. This here. Let's see here. G5, E4, F6, E3. Hmm. Okay. So G4, E4, F6, E3, F7, E2. Let's let's see. G5, E4, F6, E3, F7, E2, King, F8 equals queen check. Okay, and then we win. Okay. Feels kind of like e4. For some reason, it feels like e4 to me. It's an interesting move for sure. Because the queen's almost trapped. We've almost got the queen nabbed, so if we somehow had the ability to queen a1 too as well. So queen a, I like queen a1 better now. Yeah. That was a good move there. Let me see there. If we now play the queen move, there's no spot for the queen to go to at that point. No. What am I missing here? 94. Queen h4. So queen knight before queen h4. See, rook takes c8, pawn takes c8, king takes c8. I think we could just take the pawn if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at potentially what feels kind of right is king takes b7 there, and if he takes, then see, king takes b7, rook takes g8, and then knight takes f2. What do you guys think? What do you think, Erie? Do you like king takes b7? We're still threatening to win the knight on f3 in that line. We're still attacking the queen, and by taking on b7 we're attacking the rook, so we're forcing the rook to have to decide what it wants to do. What? So king takes b2. If rook takes c, we take the queen, right? We take the queen on we take right, exactly. We take the queen on f2, and we're good to go in that line. We're winning. Yeah. Kazam. There we go. The queen feels almost slightly trapped here, so, and so does our king. So we have to their king. Knight takes. What happens though after? So you have to. Let's think about this. What happens though after, if we do play knight takes d5, e takes d5, and then knight f5, queen f7. Do we play bishop and then knight h6 check, and you pick up the. Okay, I could see that. Oh, I've seen this one before. It's here and right here. What's the idea behind it though? I mean, what's okay, let's say rook queen takes e1. Rook takes c7. queen c1, and then we pick up the rook in that line. Okay, I can see that. I can go with that. Okay, so bishop takes c3, bishop takes c3, check. If queen takes c3, queen takes c3, b takes c3, oh, okay, I gotcha. So it's queen takes a3. Okay, that makes sense. That makes more sense. Because I was like, huh. I thought I was missing something. I was looking at the queen takes a3. I was like, huh. So I'm glad I wasn't seeing things. I thought I was seeing stuff. I was like, I must be missing something, because I was like, that has to be winning, like what you just said about queen takes a3. I was like, that's got to be winning there. Let me see here. Okay, dokie. Let me see. See, there's potential. Trying to see if we can't skewer the queen. This is all based on a skewer, like using the king with a check. I'm trying to see if we can't get the queen using the a1 to h8 diagonal somehow. Like potentially what feels kind of interesting is rook e6. Rook e6 check feels kind of a little, maybe to the point a little. Like rook e6 check, rook takes e6, queen a6 check. If king d5, then I'd probably play queen to c4 check, and when the king tried to kind of like run, so maybe king d6, queen c5 check, and when the king tried to go to so he stays away from the queen, he tries to go to e5, king e5, we have queen c3, and we pick up after the king goes to f5. We play queen takes g7. I think that's the line. Am I correct? Is that the line? What do you guys think? Are we on the right track? But how do we get any checks in to go after the queen, though? The rook to e6 draws the rook away and allows our king to infiltrate in. That was the only thing that I was looking at. What do you think, Morphe? What do you think, Erie? Are you with rook e6? Do you have lines? Do you have lines to go over? Do you have a line, Todd? No solid idea? I'll give you like a minute or so to decide if you have a line. Otherwise, I really don't see anything better than potentially. But what do you think about the line I put in though? Rook c1, queen c1. So rook e6, rook takes e6, bishop a f5, check. What about a6? You forgot a6. a6 is a check. I don't think c4 is a good move. I like a6 check. Let's see, c2, rook c2. You gotta have a line though for that to make sure that it all works out. See if rook c2 check. If king d6. Oh, king d7. I want to see if this idea works. See, that's it. I think that was the line. Yep. So I'll show you why I don't think the other one worked. See, even if we did rook c2, it's still a draw because of b7, and then even if we try there. No, you don't suck. Nope, you're fine. You were right though on B. This right here is actually winning. So you were right if he moved down, but only if he moves up. See, you have to always remember what's your opponent's best move, and I should have thought about this, that this was our opponent's best move, and then there's no more checks, and he can actually block at that point with his rook. There we go. Just sometimes go with your gut, like Maurice Ashley says that in blitz and rapids, sometimes you have to just if it's a good move, go with it, and that was a good move. The rook to e6 check. Let's see. Well, he could defend if we go let's see, queen g5. He does have potentially bishop g7 though. He does potentially have bishop g7, and I guess though we could still take on at that point queen takes g5. So g5, bishop f7 there. Okay, so that doesn't work. Queen g, let's see what would be another potential move he could play. Maybe d5. He might queen g5. He might play d5 here. d5 there, I mean. What do we do if he plays d5 there? So that's the you have to always think of your opponent's best counter attacks. We could try, let's see, takes with check. I got it. It's bishop takes f7. Bishop takes f7, knight g5, check. King goes back to g8, and then queen e6 is mate. Gotcha. See, the reason this is not a it's not a bad move. He just has either e6 or d5. I think d5 loses though to knight to e6 at this point, and then takes, and then queen could actually potentially. Oops, sorry, not there. Takes here. That's what I mean. So here stops. This stops that. So the only way to handle it is to have this queen checkmate. Let's amp this up. Okay. Let's see here. King G8. Oh boy. King G8. Queen G6. Actually, it's not forced. We could actually potentially play King E8, Queen takes H8, and then you could play Queen to F8, Queen F8 potentially. And then we'd be up a whole rook and we'd have enough material. See, I believe the other line actually ends in mate. Let me see, King G7. I just want to take a look. I'm at G7, G8. Queen G6. Let's see, King G8, Queen G6 check, King G8, Queen G6 check, King E8, Queen G6 check. Let's see, Queen E8, Queen takes H8, check, Queen F8, Queen H5 check. Queen King to D8. Let's say he goes G6. Queen check. I'm only concerned. Let's see, is King E8. Queen takes H8 check. Hold on. Queen F8. Queen H5 check. King D8. Let's say G6. After G6, let's see, what could we do here? Well, if King D6, then we can actually take the King G8, d6 check, and then queen takes c4. Yeah, I was thinking that too. You know what? I just went with my gut on that one because sometimes this, I believe, actually is a draw. Because if we actually go here, perpetual. That's what it would be, is perpet. Great job on finding the right move, so that was good. Queen h8 check, king f7, rook h7 check, king. I think we just pick up the rook in that line. Queen h8 check, king g7 f7, and then queen takes or a8. I think we just win. I think we just win the rook over in the corner. Oh, that's right. Sorry, that's right. Yeah, a little too happy-go-lucky there. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, you play check here, and then check, and we got him. We got him. That's mate. Wow, we got a lot of pieces on pre here. Nice job. We got a lot of pieces on. We have at least 3 pieces on pre. First idea, queen d8 check, king king f7, queen c7 check. Only move king is e6. King queen takes. Do we take the knight or do we take the bishop in that line? Queen takes c4, I think. Queen takes c4 check. Oh no, I wouldn't take that. Queen d, queen c7, king e6, and queen takes queen takes c4. This is the move. Oh, okay, we just grab that. And we grab that here. See? We just we grabbed everything. And if they wanted to play for a different line, there is a another line here. And we pick up a rook in that line. So we're so much material is hanging. It's like, hello, you know, give me some of that material back. Oh boy, let me see here. Yeah, rook h8. Only move is king g4. So if we played rook h8, king g4. Let's see. I'm thinking that knight g7 check, king g4, rook e4 check, king knight f4, and then we basically win. I think we might have. Okay, we need to. Yep, we have. This is a very familiar one, isn't it? Kind of, you get that spidey sense, huh? You'll start to get that. You'll start to see how some of these problems loop. And first of all, in this, bishop g5 is a killer, by the way. Bishop g5 is a knockout blow. The only sitch is not really. If rook f1 check, king takes f1. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, there's no way for him to win at that point. Great work. That was excellent. Huh. Knight g6 check. Excuse me. Knight g6 check. King can't go to f7 because queen. Well, he could go to f7. So maybe it's. I might be wrong. I'm thinking queen check might be crushing. I'm thinking maybe queen f6 check, king e8, and then knight to g6. He gets away if we don't do that. I'm getting the feeling that queen f6 is queen f6 check, king e8. Yeah, queen f6 is the winning knockout. Queen f6, king e8, knight g5. Yeah, this is the first right move. And now we have to figure out, is the next right move. I think I'm wrong on. I think the next one is. Let's see. f6, king e8. There, king f7. check. King e8, queen g8, king e7, and knight. Why not just plain old queen h8, check. Ah, I remember this one. I remember this one. Yeah, it is this here. I remember this. Queen h8, and then no, this isn't. This is, ooh, oh no, no, no. Wait, wait. What the? What? You gotta be serious. What? How'd that happen? Ay, ay, ay. I hate when that happens sometimes. I'm typing in. I guess I might have touched the wrong key. Sorry about that. We had a mate there. That was my bad. I don't know if we can go back to that one. I don't think so. That only works on alliedchess.org. That's really nice. I gotta say, that's the nice thing about it. About that it does, if you accidentally, one time I did that on Allied Chess and it did come back. But, yeah. I hate when that happens. Sometimes if I don't have my box thing blinking like this and I write in there and I try to write, sometimes the code that I type in, like bishop d8, it takes me out of chess.com. But we have to refocus down. It happened. You know what? Nothing you can do about it now. We got to regroup and come back harder. But I did recognize that puzzle. I did. I did. I mean, we did that puzzle before. We got it wrong last time, and I remembered how it went. You play your queen to queen to h8, and then what happens when the king comes back up? Then you bring your knight in, and at that point, when the king goes back, then you checkmate. You have to draw him away from his x-vac point. Ugh. Okay, let's get back in this. Okay, so queen a4. Queen a4, then queen a2, or king would queen my nope, queen a2, and then let me see, bishop takes rook, rotates rook. Oh, because we'd have a backrank mate at that point. Yeah, the line goes queen a4. Oh, yeah, you put it in there already, but I'll see if I'm following along 100%. Sorry about that. We will continue onward. Queen a2. And trust me, we had that problem before. We'll get it again. I'll throw it in there again. So don't worry. We'll get to solve that again, and we'll get it right. Because now we recognize it. Bishop takes e5. If rook takes e5, rotates e5, then we have rook. I don't know if rook c1 is a good move or not there. I know this is the start of oh no, okay, 4, let me see here, what did I, nope, okay, okay, takes first, okay, so we take first and then we do that, Okay, so first of all, you draw the rook away, and then you bring down checkmate. I was wondering about that. We have to get back in that. See, if we checked here first, queen there. Um, if we took here, oops, we're in check. So that makes sense. We're in check, so that's why we have to draw that away. Yeah. And then this leads to a checkmate, rook c2, king b, and then mate right there. Okay, let's redo it one more time so we get it into our minds, and let's move on to the next one. We will move on to onward and upward, even better puzzles, much more richer and good. So let's keep moving here. Yeah, I remember this one too. You take, and then you castle kingside, and you that's, remember we did this one. Yep. Do you remember this one, Morphe? We did this one. Remember when we're like, what do we do? Okay, bye. Be blessed, and come back again. Stop by. Yeah, we're doing good. Our yeah. Click on the second red X from the right bottom, your tactics score. Okay. We'll do that after this. Okay. We'll do that one. Oh, you can. Okay. All right. Nice. Okay, we'll do that one. And, hey, I'm learning something. I didn't know that. Sweet. Because sometimes that happens on other computers. I don't know why. I guess I have my bigger hands, I guess. Sometimes I actually touch the wrong keys. See, I told you, with teamwork we can do anything. Yeah, that's why the Lord sent them out in twos. It's teamwork. Okay. Knight d4. Let's see if we remember. Let's see if we remember this. Not remember, but I mean, if it's in our long-term memory here, our subconscious, as they would say, which is your long-term. So rook takes c8. Rook takes c8. Queen takes c8. Bishop takes. Knight. Bishop takes bishop. Rook takes queen c1, and then rook d, and then queen d1. Okay. Gotcha. Rook takes c8. If queen takes c8, bishop takes d4, bishop takes d4, rook takes d4, queen c1, and then rook d1. I believe that's the move. Is that it? Are we on the right track there? What do you think, Morphe? Do you think it's the rook takes c8? I think it is. Nope. Oh, that's bad. Oh, yeah, I've missed that. Drat. Overthought it. Okay, so let's do our bishop takes first. Then let me see. Let me see there. Let's see, bishop takes knight. Bishop takes, rook takes. Ah, we have it. I just had the order wrong. Bishop takes d4. Bishop takes d4. Rook takes c8. Rook takes c8. Rook takes d4. And then, okay. It's bishop takes, rook takes, takes, and then he checks us. Okay, so we're at the bottom. Where do you go back? Go back after this. Go back to see. Okay, how do we go back now and retrieve it? I'm at the thing here so that we can go back and retrieve it. Where do you push? Do you see where it says puzzle rating? Puzzle rating. Right here? No, that's stats. Right here, yeah. Yeah? Yeah, so we go to okay, we click on that. What happens then? Oh, this one here. No, we got this one right. I believe we did. No, we got this one wrong. Got that one right. I don't think it counted against us or for us. Okay, so that's okay. Hey, we'll go on to the next one. Hey, you know what? We'll get it again, so don't worry. Don't worry. We'll get it again. Okay, so we're in check here. I'm thinking about, I'm liking knight e8. Knight e8 is the reason knight e8 is important. Knight e8 because we'll see, he wants to go knight e8. If we went knight f6, I mean knight f8, he can actually play queen b8 and hold. Knight f8, he goes queen b8, and he's able to hold. But if we go knight e8, we're still covering b8, so he wouldn't be able to. He'd actually have to play queen takes e8 in that line, just to hold, because we're still threatening mate at that point. See, our knight on d7 covers b8. Our knight on d7 covers b8. But if we moved our rook down to e8, we lose our ability for checkmating. So the best line in this is actually here. Oh man, so the knight really took away all of our fun. That's not fun. Yeah, it's like, really? They took away all of our fun. We don't like that. Let's see, what do we got here? We have potential checkmate. So queen takes f2, rook comes up. Yeah, I think this is the only way to win on the spot. Yep. And then rook would come up. We take the knight, and I believe at this point yeah, exactly. Well, let me see here. Let's see. So here, yeah, you could do that. That is mate, isn't it? I was looking at something like this. That's kind of funny. I was looking at this. That's mate 3, but that other one's a faster mate. Okay, there. Alrighty, let's do it to it. So let's see what are potential move sequences here. I noticed that there's a problem with Black's king. It's a back rank sitch. So a couple moves I'm looking at. Rook c1. Rook c1 is a move I'm looking at. Really hard at that point. Rook c1. Well, I'm thinking that we'll have, yeah, it's a forced move. So let's try queen takes d8 first. Queen takes d8 check. Queen takes d8. Rook takes d8. Check. Bishop takes d8. And a takes A takes B4, and we're up a whole piece in that line. And if queen takes D8, bishop takes D8, bishop takes B7, bishop takes B7. And at that point the queen has to move and its mate. And we totally own at that point. Yeah, it's like domination. This is his best line of continuation. It's funny, it's like there's a best line, yeah, right here. This is actually his best line for continuing. The line that he actually chose was the worst one. Here, here. This is actually the worst one out of the lot. Yeah. Here we take and we're up a whole rook in that one. So nice work. We're doing good. We're amping it up to the next level. I'm looking at King C5. King C5 is what I'm looking at. If King C5, if knight D6, bishop takes E5. If C takes D5, then bishop takes D6 check. So King C5. Oops, C5. If knight D4, bishop knight D4. Bishop takes D4. E takes D4. King takes D4. C takes D5. King takes D5. King King B6, and then King C4. I think it might be a draw though. We might just plain old take it. Let's see. Bishop takes e5, check. If knight d6, check. King c5. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the bishop takes. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's d6? No, the king actually it doesn't. I don't think it. I don't believe it wins the knight, if I'm not mistaken. No, you're not stupid. No, never say that. No, that's not true. You know, we all. You know what? A calculation we can always improve on, but that's not true. Nobody's that. We just have to work on calculation and we get better. Let's see here. Okay. I'm thinking either d6 or king or king c5. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, because like if king c5, if knight a3, we have d takes c6. Or if king c5, knight a7, d6 is an interesting idea. Oh, he'll play king d6. He'll play king c8. King c8. Yeah, d6, king c8, king c5, king d7. and then he holds. That holds. He'll hold when he gets to king to d7. There's no way to push Nate further. I'm thinking king c5 has to be the move that wins now. Yeah, because the knight doesn't have to move at that point. Like, well, yeah, the knight could move to a7, but yeah, I'm thinking that king this. Now we can go d6. We'll go king b6, and when the knight goes to b5, we take the pawn and then we win. So I'll show you. I'll show you why d6 doesn't work right away. See, if we tried this, let me see here. If we try d6 right now, it's a draw because c8, and if we tried king up, he's got king d, and let's say we try like maybe bishop h2 or some, he can just go king to c3 and he holds. Yeah, but if we go king first, and then he goes what did he play first, by the way? Okay, so he played here, we played there, he played here, king b there, he played the only move really that's, I guess, losing, and then we take here, and knight a7, check, king b6, b5, and then we take, and we have two passed pawns. Okay, gotcha. We play rook b3, queen, sorry, rook g3, queen g4, and he's pinned our queen. The interesting thing that I see is actually potentially g5. h5. And that does potentially win the queen. Yeah. Yeah, the only problem is with g5 I just noticed was h5, and it's like, then our idea is squelched. Our idea is like no more, and it's like, it's like drat. Let's see, if we played g5, h5, rook g3, queen h4. Hmm. Do, 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 do. Three pieces are actually on pre at this moment. There's a rook, a knight, actually a rook and a rook, so don't think instinct. Thinking potentially let's see, rook g3, queen h4, f4, maybe. I'm thinking would rook e3 be an idea? I'm thinking rook e3. Rook e3, then we can push F4 and trap the queen. What do you think? See, rook E3, knight E5, bishop takes E5. If rook takes E5, we have F4 and we win the queen. Or if D takes E5, we still push F4 and we win the queen. What do you think? What do you think, guys? I'm gonna go with rook E3. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think there's any way for our opponent to get out at that point. What do you think, Morphe? What do you think, Economy? Rook E3? Let's give it a go. I'll show you the lines. This is really cool. Yeah, this right here is cool because if he comes here and pawn takes, we win the queen, so the queen goes down. If the knight comes here, we come and grab this, he takes here, and then we play F4. If G5, we play bishop to, let's see, does F4 win at no, F4 doesn't win at that point. I guess bishop could retreat back at that point. E5, and then F4. Knight takes, queen D2. Now we're attacking the knight, and then so the knight takes here, and then we take the queen. Queen D5. I like rook F1 actually. Just keeping everything together. Yeah. So that was kind of the idea. Hold on one sec. Let me see what's the. How are we doing time? Okay, perfect. Got enough time for one more. Let's hammer on through this. We're doing this good. Okay. I'm looking at knight D8. Knight D8. Maybe. Let me see. Knight D8. Nope. Well, let's see. Knight D8. That's an idea. If queen takes D8. Takes d8. Rook g8. Rook takes g8. So that doesn't work. Rook takes g8. Check, and then there. Nope. So that doesn't work. Nope. I was looking at knight d8. Queen takes d8. It's actually knight f8, I believe. Knight f8, because if rook takes f8, we have rook g8 check. Rook g8 check. Rook takes g8. Queen takes f6 check. So so knight e6, queen takes e6, rook g8 check, queen takes g8, and then we have queen f6 check, and we win. So it's this here. So do you guys got any questions before I log off? Do you have a game you'd like to go over before I log off? I'm Morphe. If you do, we can go over a game. And I'll show you why the other line doesn't work. That'll give you the chance if you have a game you wanted to go over, we could. Here, if you played here, this loses because queen could take, rook check. I guess queen e5. Okay. Rook c6 is the reason that it doesn't work. Well, let me see. What is the reason it doesn't work? So it still does mate. It still leads to mate. But there's a fast. See, that's the funny thing. It still leads to mate. This is just a faster checkmate. See, if we take here, this is mate 1. If rook takes, there, and here. Do you have any games you want to go over, anybody, before I log off? I'll give you a minute to put in yes or no so that you can because it might have some lag, and I want to make sure that you have a chance to put in your game if you have one. No game at all? No games? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Okay, I wanted to thank y'all for logging on. You know what? We're doing good. We're back in the run-ins. We're starting to not worry about the points, but worry about the right concept and understanding. Life is about treasuring your victories and learning from your losses. Remember that mistakes do not define you. It's how you handle the mistakes that define you. We have to sometimes go on your gut. Sometimes when you feel like a move is right, take a look at it. Make sure that the move that you're looking at isn't the right one. Sometimes when we go against our gut, and I was listening to somebody today that said that the longer that you look at a problem, sometimes the greater the chance that you'll get it wrong. So sometimes your first choice is the best choice to look at. I'm not saying that you should blitz out your tactics or anything like that. I'm just going to check to see if anybody wrote anything in. What? You could find one? Okay. Do you want to go? You want to do one right now? I can do one right. We could do one if you'd like. Because I could put. I just wanted to make sure because I know sometimes there's a lag. If you have one, put it. Post it in. I can wait for just a sec. Oh, save it for next time? Okay. Sounds like a deal. Alright, we get to do a Morphe game, our really good one tomorrow. So, you know what? Stay tuned. You know what? So, come back if you want it. If you like what you see and you like the puzzles and the friendly environment that the Lord's given me a gift of speaking, you can always come and click follow and join us on our quest to 2400 and beyond. We have to remember that, like what Bruce Lee said, there are no limits to our human potential. There are plateaus, and we don't want to stay there. We have to get crawl over that plateau and jump over onto the other side. The way to do that is to sometimes you have to tap into our long-term memory, and that's what we have to work on. Like that spidey sense that you get, or the chest sense that Yazzer and Maurice and Jennifer talk about. That sense, that's your long-term memory saying, "I remember that one." And then we get an inkling, huh? That I get a tingle that this move over here is correct. Listen to that tingle sometimes and calculate out that move, and you'll be surprised how many times you might actually be solving a really hard puzzle that way. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at puzzles. If you get like a kind of tingle in your brain and it's like, huh, what is that? Don't dismiss it. Try to find out why you felt that way and look at the board. If a piece feels kind of interesting, that maybe that would be the move. Move it, because like what Grandmaster Maurice Ashley said, he said that in Blitz and Rapid, you have to go on your gut. I call it long term. Some players call it in chess gut check, and basically playing from your instinct or stuff like that. That's kind of the same type of term. But we have to know. See, knowing sometimes is not enough. We use our frontal spot of our brain. Is not enough. We must apply. So we have to take what we've learned in the past from like books and everything, which is in our long term, and apply our long term to puzzles. Because we have seen some of these puzzles before, and when you get that eerie feeling, kind of like I've seen this before, that's our long term saying, yes, you've seen it before. If you and this is the move. And sometimes we listen, sometimes we don't. We become rebellious and try to take control ourselves, and that's not the. Sometimes that's not the smartest thing to do. Sometimes it is just to relax and let your long-term memory kind of direct you sometimes. And we can be willing, but unless we do, what that means is let our long-term memory kick in and do something about it, we're always going to be at just the brink of great understanding experience happening. We have to also remember that the Lord is the one who gives inspiration and thoughts too. So you have to be kind of careful sometimes. We have to always include the maker who made us to direct us in that area too. So it's a vast expanse in our mind. The human mind is wonderfully made. We just have to learn how to access our long term when we get that spidey sense and actually play those moves, not double think or double check, go with it, because sometimes it's the right one. But you always have to remember though, the reason how we get those moves is by hanging up our coat and hanging up our hat and sitting down and studying when most won't. We do, and that goes into our long-term memory, and it makes all the difference. So you have to be, it's the funny thing is, it's not like get a pick and guess or hope chess, or there's a lot of terms for that. You've already seen it somewhere in your experience as a chess player. Some of these move kind of setups, it's just retrieving them that's the problem. But if we work with it and we relax and then we have fun and we have fun with chess and play and not worry about the outcome, and just have, kick back and do our best and not think too hard, we'll get them right. And that's what we're doing. We're getting them right because we're working together as a team. And as always, what do we have to remember that the team is important, and we work together, we improve. And I like what Grandmaster Yasser Seirawan said, and then we'll end it on this. Every long journey begins with one small step. And as Wesley So says through the Lord Jesus, and as I say, God bless, and I'll see you guys next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening, and Lord willing, I'll be back on tomorrow. And remember, click follow if you want to see. We're going to be having a game pretty soon. Next time, tomorrow, we'll have a game. It's going to be a really good one to go over, and we'll do some more studies, and we'll do some more puzzles, and we'll use our long-term memory and keep pushing forward and amping it up. Go Team Chess Cruncher, hoorah, be blessed, and we'll see you tomorrow. So come on, log on around this time. I'm on every night. At least I try to be on every night when my business kind of, if it doesn't get in the way, but usually it does it. So I try to set aside this time. So come on down and do puzzles with us, games and studies. Okay, be blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.